Finding Nemo, Nemo and the tank gang. One day, a little clownfish named Nemo got into big trouble. When his father, Marlin, wasn't looking, he swam out into the open ocean on a dare. Marlin realized what Nemo had done and yelled at him to come back. Suddenly, a scuba diver grabbed Nemo and put him in a bag. "Dad, Daddy," Nemo called, hoping his father could save him. But another diver swam up and took a picture of Marlin. The flash blinded him for a minute. The divers quickly took Nemo back to their boat and left. The next thing Nemo knew, he was being plunged into some strange water. The clownfish swam straight into some scary-looking tiki heads. He screamed, and then, bam, he hit a glass wall. Nemo realized that he was in a fish tank, which was nothing like the ocean. It had glass walls all around and was located in a dentist's office in Sydney, Australia. Nemo had never been so far away from home or his father. When the dentist peered in at him, Nemo was so startled he bumped into a fake treasure chest, which popped open and let out a stream of bubbles. A yellow tangfish swam over and tried to push all the bubbles back inside the chest. Nemo didn't know what to think. Fish didn't act like this in the ocean. Then, a starfish named Peach unstuck herself from the glass and waved hello. Still a little scared, the clownfish hid inside a miniature diver's helmet. Before long, a whole gang of fish appeared and introduced themselves. There was Bloat, a blowfish, Deb, a blue and white humbug fish, Gurgle, a royal gamma fish, Jacques, a tiny cleaner shrimp, and Bubbles, a yellow tangfish who was crazy about bubbles. Nemo thought the fish seemed friendly. When they learned he was from the ocean, or the Big Blue as they liked to call it, they were amazed. Most of them had come from pet stores. Soon, a pelican named Nigel came by. Gurgle introduced the pelican to Nemo and told him how the clownfish had been taken from the reef. When the dentist spotted Nigel, he shooed the pelican out the open window, knocking over a frame with a photo of a little girl in it. "This here's Darla," the dentist told his patient. "She's my niece, going to be 8 this week." Then he looked over at Nemo. "She's going to be here Friday to pick you up." "She's a fish killer," muttered Peach. Nemo panicked. He wanted to get back to his dad. He darted around the tank, but got stuck in the intake tube. "Daddy, help me," he cried. A Moorish idolfish named Gil appeared from behind a plastic skull. "You can get yourself out," he said. "Just concentrate." Nemo explained that one of his fins was smaller than the other. He didn't think he could do it. Gil showed him his own severed fin and said, "Never stopped me." So Nemo swam as hard as he could. Before long, he had freed himself. That night, Jacques woke up Nemo and led him to the volcano in the center of the tank. As they got closer, Nemo spotted the rest of the fish. He wondered what was going on. "We want you in our club, kid," Peach explained. "If you are able to swim through the ring of fire," Bloat added dramatically. A wall of bubbles erupted from the volcano. The tank gang chanted Nemo's name, urging him on. The little clownfish concentrated and quickly zoomed through the bubbles. Gil smiled at him. From this moment on, you will now be known as Shark Bait, he said. Shark Bait's one of us now, Gil continued. He paused. Darla's coming in 5 days, so what are we going to do? No one said anything. Luckily, Gil had an escape plan. Nemo was the only one small enough to swim into the filter and jam it with a pebble. If he completed that dangerous task, the tank would get dirty. The dentist would have to put the fish in bags while he cleaned it. Once he did, the tank gang would roll their bags down the counter, out the window, off the awning, across the street, and into the freedom of the harbor. Let's do it, Nemo said. He was anxious to get home to his dad. The next day, while the tank gang was waiting for the dentist to take a break, Gil told Nemo that he'd injured his fin during his first escape attempt. He'd been trying to jump into the toilet. The toilet? Nemo asked. All drains lead to the ocean, kid, the Moorish idol fish replied. When the dentist left, Nemo gathered his courage, swam hard into the filter, and jammed it with a pebble. The filter blade stopped for a moment, but then the pebble slipped, and the deadly blade started whirling again. Even worse, Nemo was being sucked backward toward the blades. His quick-thinking friends rushed into action. They pushed a plant into the tube and pulled Nemo back to safety. Gil's escape plan was ruined. The tank gang was silent. The Moorish idolfish swam away, ashamed that he'd put the little clownfish's life in danger. Not long after that, Nigel heard an interesting bit of gossip. It was about a clownfish who was looking for his son. The tiny fish had battled 3 sharks, escaped from a hungry anglerfish, and even survived a school of jellyfish. Now he was traveling toward Sydney. A bunch of sea turtles had given him a ride, then told other ocean creatures about the clownfish's adventures. When Nigel heard the story, he was sure that the fish had to be Nemo's father. He flew to the dentist's office to tell Nemo. At first, the little clownfish didn't believe Nigel's story. His father was too scared to swim in the open ocean. Traveling this far meant Marlin was being very brave. Now, Nemo felt brave too. He was determined to escape from the tank and find his father as quickly as possible. In a flash, Nemo picked up a new pebble and jammed it into the filter. This time the plan worked. Soon the tank would get very dirty. The next day, the tank was covered in green algae. Nemo knew there was a chance he might get to go home soon. Look at that, Gil said to Nemo. Absolutely filthy, and it's all thanks to you, kid. Nemo giggled. Then Gil caught Jacques cleaning and had to tell him to stop. Plot, on the other hand, loved wallowing around in the muck. When the dentist came in, he ran his finger along the inside of the tank. He sighed and told his receptionist he'd have to clean it before Darla arrived to pick up her new fish the next morning. Yay, he's going to clean the tank, Nemo cried. Are you ready to see your dad, kid? Gil asked. Uh-huh, Nemo said longingly. But when the fish woke up the next morning, the tank was spotless. The dentist had installed a new filter during the night. The tank gang's escape plan had failed again, and Darla was due any minute. The dentist soon arrived and scooped Nemo into a net. The little clownfish panicked, and the tank gang reacted quickly. They scrambled into the net with him and swam downward, forcing the dentist to drop them. The fish began to cheer, but the dentist snuck up behind Nemo and caught him in a plastic bag. Then he set the bag on the counter. Gil and the others coached Nemo to roll the bag toward the window. He had almost made it there when the dentist noticed and moved him. Just then, Darla came in. She was anxious to see her birthday surprise. Nemo knew he would have to do something if he wanted to survive, so he floated belly up. The dentist looked at the little clownfish and thought he had died. Nemo winked at the tank gang, sure the dentist wasn't going to flush him down the toilet. Thanks to Gil, he knew the drain would take him to the ocean. All of a sudden, Nigel flew in with Marlin and Dory, a fish who'd been helping with the search. Marlin saw Nemo and thought he was dead. Nigel dropped the fish back into the ocean. Darla began to shake the bag, so the tank gang catapulted Gil onto her head. She dropped the bag, it burst open, and Nemo landed on a tray of tools. Gil helped him get to the spit sink. Nemo went down the drain and soon made it to the ocean, where he found his father. They were thrilled to see each other again. Before long, the tank gang broke the filter and were able to find their way to the Big Blue at last. The end.